I want to talk to you today about Capital One EIN only business funding. So we are going to compare and contrast their business loan, their business line of credit, their SBA loan, their CRE loan. CRE stands for commercial real estate loan, and also their specialized loan. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sodi Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, we want to compare and contrast 4 or 5 business loans from Capital One, and those are EIN only. At least those can be applied for using EIN only, or if you want to apply as a sole proprietorship using your personal credit score, that's fine also. So we're going to look at their business loan, their line of credit, their SBA loan, their commercial real estate loan, and their specialized loan. One thing I want to say right off the bat, that when we talk about Capital One, we are speaking about a bank that is located in McLean, Virginia. So they serve the Mid-Atlantic region and parts of the South. Okay, and they're perhaps best known for their credit cards and credit card marketing strategy, right? What's in your wallet? Nevertheless, the bank does lend to businesses located within its retail footprint, but also nationally. If you have a relationship with the bank, they will lend you, not a problem. And like most banks, these loans are not the easiest to qualify for, but they do have better rates. When you think about Bank of America, when you think about Chase, when you think about Citi, those banks have rates that are relatively higher than the rates that Capital One offers. Okay, and so the lending products include business term loans, of course. You have lines of credit, SBA loans. I will talk more about this later. And our rating, our overall rating, when you think about Capital One, we have rated them 8.5 over 10. In terms of their fees, 9.5 over 10. This is really great. They have some of the lowest rates in the industry. No questions asked. Their application process, it's sort of that needs some improvement. They're still doing things old school. Nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong here. Nothing wrong with that. But you have technology nowadays, and things are fast. You have application platforms that you have loan application platforms that allow you to apply for a loan within 5 minutes, 10 minutes. With Capital One, you want to wait for days. You got to contact someone. They don't offer the application online. You have to contact someone, which is not a bad thing though. You have to contact someone, talk to someone before you can apply. And in terms of sales and advertising transparency, we have rated them 7 over 10 because they're not very transparent in terms of their pricing. There is no information on the website, no information whatsoever. Customer service, great, 9 over 10. In terms of user reviews, we have given them 9 over 10. As a matter of fact, let me talk to you about the pros and cons here. When you think about Capital One EIN only business funding, what are the pros? You have multiple types of financing available, high borrowing amounts, rates tend to be cheap, monthly repayments, and long-term financing options are available. What about the cons? So borrowing qualifications might be hard to meet. Financing is not available in some states. Funds can take a while to disperse, and the website advertising is not informative. And big decision time. Are you interested in getting an EIN only business loan from Capital One? You can also apply using your personal credit, your social security number. So that will be without EIN. Are you interested? Talk to me. Big decision time because you need to know what borrowers have said about Capital One in the past. So here we have actually compiled a few reviews, good reviews and bad reviews about EIN only funding, business funding from Capital One. So the negative reviews, so you have dispute resolution. People have complained about Capital One's dispute resolution process, which they felt was unfair or unresponsive. The fees, a lot of customers complain about the cost and frequency of fees, and they do have an aggressive marketing plan. So you've probably gotten Capital One credit card offers in the mail, but these customers complain about robocalls and cold calls. What about the positive reviews and testimonials? People have talked about relatively low qualifications. So compared to many other banks, Capital One does not set hard limits on things such as credit. New businesses, however, may be out of luck because you have to be in business for at least 2 years. They do have versatile products. So their products are versatile. They offer a greater breadth and depth of products than you usually find with an alternative lender. And they have better rates. Okay, traditional banks will generally have better interest rates than comparable products from alternative lenders. So those are things you need to think about. So overall, when you think about Capital One and you think about their EIN only business funding, I would say that they are good. We have scored them 8.5 over 10. We believe they are a great player. They have been around for a while. They do have the financial wherewithal. They have the balance sheet needed to fund large loans, large business loans. So they are good to work with. You don't have to apply online. You have to contact someone and you have to work with a loan officer. And honestly, we love that. I mean, if you've been following this shows for a while, you know that we always tell borrowers to go to a branch to talk to a live person before getting a loan, not just do anything online, because if you do things online, you are taken care of by an algorithm. Let me talk to you about the product. Here, I want to dig a little deeper here into all the products that they offer. Obviously, this is a comparative analysis of their products. So let's first talk about business installment loans. So this is basically a great way to cover costs. Okay, if you want to expand, if you want to consolidate debt, if you want to take care of working capital needs, it's all about your liquidity needs. But when you think about business installment loans at Capital One, I want you to think about long term. Because you might be approved for 5 years, you might be approved for 7 years or 3 years, but you got to think about long term, more than 12 months. Okay, so but you can, don't get me wrong, you can use the money also for short term needs, but a line of credit is a lot better. Let's talk about equipment and vehicle loans. Those are great also because you can actually get collateralized loans from Capital One. From computers to cars, you can get financing for the equipment you need, and everything on your balance sheet in the PPE category, the property, plant, and equipment category. You can actually buy it through Capital One's equipment and vehicle loans. Big decision time here. I want you to talk to me. Do you need specialized lending? Because the business installment loans, the equipment and vehicle loans, those are general loans. But if you need specialized lending, they will actually work with you. Capital One will work with you. They have solutions to meet your business needs. But the thing here is you need to talk to a banker. You know, if you want to, let's say you're looking for non-revolving lines of credit, you're looking for discounted rates, you are looking for investor real estate loans and more, talk to a banker. What if you're looking for real estate term loans? They can also help you with that. You know, you can build equity with those loans. And here, the loans are pretty generous. We love the fact that Capital One will go up all the way to $5 million for purchasing, refinancing, or improving property with fixed payments and term lengths of up to 20 years. So those are really great. And they also offer lines of credit. What we love about the Capital One business line of credit is that you can use them for short-term liquidity needs. You can use it to improve cash flow for your daily operations. Okay, so you're basically bridging the gap between your goals and the cash flow required to achieve them. And line amounts here start at $10,000 and they go all the way to $1 million. And they also offer SBA loans. Okay, this is really great, and they are an approved lender for SBA 504 and SBA 504 and SBA 78 loans. Let me talk to you about eligibility, folks. In today's conversation, we are still doing a comparative analysis of Capital One EIN business funding, and in terms of borrower qualifications. So, time in business, 2 years. If you are a startup, you will not qualify for this loan program, or any loan program for that matter at Capital One. Your credit score, 550, that's the minimum, 550. And your revenue, $120,000 per year. That's the minimum. $120,000, that's gross income, pre-tax income. Big decision time. Are those criteria interesting for you? In other words, is your business at least 2 years old? Are you making money right now? Do you have revenue that is at least, talk to me about it, that is at least $120,000 a year? Talk to me about it. Okay, you also need to have a Capital One business checking account or be willing to open one. This is important because you want to establish a relationship with Capital One, which makes sense. Okay, you need to have an NPR with the bank. If you have an NPR with the bank, you are boosting your chances of being approved. Okay, and you will also need to be based in one of the following states: Connecticut, Delaware, Louisiana, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Texas, Virginia, and Washington D.C. The thing here is, if your business does not operate in any of these states, you can still qualify though, folks. You can qualify if you have a relationship with Capital One as a business credit card holder or as an individual credit card holder. And if you do business online, if you are in e-commerce, they will work with you no matter where you live. Okay, and one thing you need to understand here is that in terms of what you need to qualify, besides the business checking accounts and the 2 years in business, you also might need to provide a business plan, audited financial statements, copies of you need to verify the assets. For example, if you're applying for equipment and vehicle loans, you need to provide some verification statements that shows the value of the assets. Okay, and this has to be appraised by a certified appraiser. So, because those loans are collateralized, so Capital One must make sure that the value is indeed what you say it is. Okay, so be ready to provide that kind of extra verification process. That's the extra verification process, and make sure that you are able to undergo some kind of due diligence. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about the Capital One EIN only business loans versus line of credit versus SBA loans versus CRA loans versus specialized loan. And I was talking to you earlier about the business plan and the financial statements. I want to dig a little deeper here in terms of the evidence that is needed. So if you want to, first of all, when you apply, you cannot apply online. You have to contact the banker, a Capital One banker, and make sure when you talk to that person, you have a few things that are ready. You want to think about, at least you need to have a clear answer as to questions such as, why are you applying for the loan? Because the banker is going to ask you, right? So you better have a clear answer about that. What will be the loan proceeds used for? What assets need to be purchased, and who are your suppliers? What other business debt do you have, and who are your creditors? Because Capital One wants to make sure they have an idea of your debt load, because they're going to actually calculate your DTI, your debt to income ratio, your company's debt to income ratio, and who are the members of your management team. They might want to know to have some idea about the founders and senior management in your company. So you need to have these documents ready: resumes, your business plan. It's important. Your business credit report, if you do have one, your income tax returns at the personal level and at the business level. But if you do things correctly and you apply with the EIN only, they will only need your business income tax returns. So that will be your 1065 or 1120S or 1120C. And they might also ask you for audited financial statements. The higher the loan amounts, the more stringent the requirements are. If you're looking for $50,000 or $100,000, they're not going to ask you for audited financial statements. Okay, you might just provide unaudited financial statements. So when I talk about financial statements, I'm talking about the four: balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statements, and statement of owner's equity. They might ask for your bank statements also, and also accounts receivable and accounts payable schedules, legal documents, the collateral. It's important. I was talking to you earlier about the verification process for collateral to make sure that if you want to buy equipment, that the collateral is indeed what it says it is. And in terms of legal documents, Capital One might ask you anything from articles of incorporation, copies of contract you have with third parties, franchise agreements if applicable, commercial leases, okay, and business licenses and registrations. Let's talk about the terms, folks. We are still, so when you are into, if you want to sign up for any Capital One EIN business funding program, there are a few things you need to think about. Terms and fees are important. Money, money, money. Money, money, money. Are you saving money through Capital One? Are they charging you extra? Those are questions you want to think about. Let's look a little deeper here. So when we look at the business installment loans, the borrowing amount, $10,000 and up. Term length, 1 to 5 years. You have interest rate, you have fixed monthly payments, and there is an origination fee of $150, and there is no collateral requirements. What about lines of credit? So credit limits, well, you have $10,000 and up. The term length is variable. Interest rate is unknown. There's an annual fee of 0.25%, and for the collateral, you might have some deposit to prove. Okay, this is important. For the SBA loans, the borrowing amount, you have $250,000 to $5 million. This stands for the SBA 7A, business and real estate loans, and no maximum for first mortgage, $5.5 million for second, SBA 504 loans. The term length up to 25 years for the SBA 7A, and up to 20 years for the 504. And for the origination fee, you have 0% to 3.5%. That's the SBA fee. And there are also some unknown bank fees. And the collateral varies by products. So overall, one thing I want to say here is that if you need a large amount of money but don't have the bona fides to get a big loan at a decent rate, you may want to explore SBA loans, because the SBA does not directly lend to businesses, but it does guarantee a percentage of loans made by its lending partners, including Capital One. So this guarantee allows business owners to get far better rates and terms that then borrowing profile might otherwise allow. Okay, and in terms of the business installment loan, you want to think about borrowing, let's say let me just put it this way. If you're thinking about borrowing $100,000, or no, let's just say if you're thinking about borrowing that amount, you want to have in revenue $150,000. So you always want to think about at least a ratio of 1.5x. So if you want to borrow, let's say $200,000, make sure that your company is generating at least $300,000. In other words, $200,000 times 1.5. Let me talk to you about the application, folks. The application process here. It's very important. One thing we want to say here is that the application process, our rating, as I've told you before, it's fair, 8 over 10, 8.5 over 10, because you're not going to apply online. This is something you need to think about. Capital One is old school when it comes to loans. You'll need to make a trip to your nearest Capital One branch and speak to a loan officer to begin the process, or you can call them. If you have solid bona fides and you don't have time to drive to a brick and mortar branch, you can talk to them over the phone. And in terms of sales and advertising, we love the fact that they are trying to be transparent. They're not there yet though. Their advertising is a little aggressive. I've spoken to you earlier about the robocalls that people sometimes have. And in terms of their pricing transparency, they're not really there yet also. Okay, so they need to do a lot of work there. In terms of customer service and technical support, we believe they're good. They're not impeccable, but they're good. Okay, and the bank is also active on social media. So if you want to contact them on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram, you can do so. And as is the case with most other big banks, customer reviews of customer service run the gamut. You can see good reviews, bad reviews. I've shared some of them with you. It really depends on what kind of service you're looking for. And one thing I also want to say here is that overall, when you think about Capital One, I want you to think about a company that is old school but also new school. They use technology, but if you're able to work with the system, if you are able to provide the documentation they're looking for, if you're able to be organized, if you're able to show them your financial statements, if you're able to justify the loan amounts, if you're able to back up all the claims that you have, not only in your business plan, but also in your financial statements, they will work with you. Make sure that you have clean financial statements. If you don't have audited financial statements, at least make sure they are well prepared. You can have them prepared by a local CPA firm. You can do things yourself with the online software if you understand the subtleties of accounting and financial reporting. Or you can just you can outsource the process, or you can even, if you have folks in-house, if you have an accountant in-house who can do that, go ahead and do it. All right, folks. So in today's conversation, I have compared and contrasted Capital One business loan to business line of credit, business to SBA loans, to CRE loans, and specialized loans. One thing you need to understand is that Capital One is known for their credit cards, but they are also a great player when it comes to business funding, either with EIN only or without EIN. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.